Oh, wait, no, I thought the...
Match is live.
Oh, the match is live. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah, so be a bit radio cast for the time being, but we do see the Gibus gang in control of the point at the moment. They have 100% Uber, and they actually have to use that Uber. It's going to be difficult for them to get anything done here as they lose 2 players. And they're standing right on top of the point, running kind of like the default meta here. No sniper. They've got a scout, a pyro, and a soldier alongside the other default classes, as well as an engineer per machine. He's running engineer with those annoying mini sentries. But it is now going to be TDM with the 100% Uber now. They are running a spy, Axion on the spy, trying to make some space. And it's actually, I don't like birds, on the scout, who seems to be causing the most problems for the enemy team. But yeah, just a matter of time before they move in with this Uber Alto. They're just kind of taking it slow here.
Yeah, I'd like to see them play a little bit faster here. 65% on red. They will end up using on this Pyro. The WM1 is coming in strong. 1, 2, 3, 4 going down. Looks like this engineer will barely escape with his life as Broadster, the medic's going to get chased out by the Pyro and the Spy, actually, Axion coming in. So a recap coming in, but Blobfish, the red sniper on Gibus Gang, is going to come in with a headshot onto Elk, who was standing still on point. Might have gotten a little complacent there after the cap. So a minute and 30 off the clock for Gibus Gang, and they will have a decent-sized lead to work with here. Uber advantage as well off of that snipe coming in from Blobfish, who has since switched back to Soldier. Something I had wanted to mention was the lack of snipers on both teams, which is really interesting, you know, given the map and just how, you know, we were kind of talking about in the intro, how powerful it is for Sniper. But the team's not deciding to run full-time ones. Looks like Gibus Gang will be getting aggressive here with a bit of a fake-out bomb coming in from Blobfish, who will go down. But cap time is coming in right now. It looks like Red Team has solid control over the point. And with this Uber at, I don't know if there's too much that TDM's going to be able to do about it.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Gibus Gang. I mean, they do get the cap, but they lose 3 players because of it, and the rest of them are weak. Big bomb from Nixon takes down 2, including the medic, and that's going to be a huge Uber advantage now for Elk. And they're just going to recapture the point, and that's the problem with King of the Hill. If you capture the point but lose a lot of players doing it, your respawns are going to be longer than the team that doesn't have the point. It's going to be difficult for you to kind of contest that and hold on to it as the team pushes in. So now they have an Uber to get rid of here, but Blobfish switching from that soldier onto the sniper worked out well before getting the snipe onto Elk. So we'll see if he can do it again. Broadster going pretty weak here, as does Blobfish. They're just being put under so much pressure that they're not allowed the space to try and get through this doorway to get anything done. Nixon with the rockets takes down Broadster again, just forces his way through the choke, throws the rockets in, gets a ton of damage, and a huge pick.
Yeah, really big plays coming out from TDM here after what looked like a really strong start to the round from Gibus Gang. Looks like Blobfish is switching back and forth between classes, not really figuring out what he wants, whereas Pumpkin Pie, the Pyro on TDM, is currently on a 7-8 streak, actually, as more players just, you know, keep dropping as he still hasn't died after that one Uber. Elk will get caught out, though, is going to get forced to pop by the Red Heavy, that being the Small Mouse. The, you know, kind of remains of this Uber will be brought in, but not too much happening. Elk's actually going to kite further in to the red lobby here, getting away from that combo on ramp, with him and his Pyro both being on bats. Elk fell off, though, and he's getting fought, chased out by Permachine. Not going to be able to land the shots and goes down to an arrow. All of this happening while Gibus Gang is backcapping them. So some pretty crazy flanks going on right now, but Elk and Pumpkin Pie are going to come back in. Looks like they will recap this point after a bit of flanking going on from both teams. Ends up with TDM having the point.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a situation where they capture the point, but they lose half their team doing it. Pumpkin Pie, the Pyro, is currently on a 9-kill streak. So it's just kind of just fragging everyone, getting so much heals, and just kind of running around with his medic and doing a great job. A big jump in from Stags. He's going to get denied by that mini sentry. Elk is taking some damage from these stickies from Aaron, just launching them across the point. But they're losing too many players. Nixon, huge bomb, takes down Broadster again. Nixon has been the man just to open things up and get these med picks. Small Mouse is surely going to die here, and that's going to be the first round to TDM.
Yeah, so 1-0 for TDM, and again, after Gibus Gang started off strong, I was thinking they'd continue to do well, but TDM really just turned it around. They put their heels into their Pyro, and Pumpkin Pie delivered. So Gonna have to see how what was I gonna say? How Gibus Gang is gonna be able to counter that on this mid fight as the blue demo man teleports behind you, gets really aggro, and will get caught out by Aaron, the Gibus Gang demo man. Traded up by I Don't Like Birds though. Frag advantage is heavily in the favor of Gibus Gang though, as 3 have dropped on TDM. TDM has point presence right now, but with that mini sentry going down, it looks like they are going to be forced back.
Yeah, I mean, Hadaman is actually just walking onto the point with that shotgun. Pow pow takes down the scout smooth. Axion is in behind. He's going to go for something, get some heals, and then gets piped. So isn't going to get anything done there. And it doesn't look like TDM want to contest this. They're not going to give it up for free. And he's going to take down a bunch of players. And there's a lot of weak players on the side of Gibus Gang, but they have won this mid fight. Pumpkin Pie winning the Pyro battle there. I mean, I just have to question Gibus Gang's sort of choice of running a heavy and an engineer. It just seems a bit too kind of defensive. As that cinch just going down, the Uber is used really early by TDM, and by the time they force the Uber, they're going to be at a 40% deficit here. Elk and teleports behind you. They're going to surf away there, and they do pick up a couple of frags. They pick up more. Small Mouse and the medic, they're all at the point, but they're just going to get destroyed as all of the damage just comes in. Actually, Small Mouse is still alive, but he can't get the kill onto Elk. Rodster goes down to the backstab. He's on a later respawn than the rest of his team. So it's going to be an even bigger Uber deficit as Blobfish trying this time on the scout to get something done. I mean, you see the mobility coming in from TDM because they have the Pyro, they have the Scout, Soldier, Demo. These players just kind of running around. The choice of having a heavy and an NG just lacks mobility from Gibus Gang. And I don't know, I think a change is needed.
Yeah, or just maybe even a change in playstyle, because you said it, where TDM had a really early Uber charge that should have had to lose that fight, but they just kind of baited out the rest of Gibus Gang away from their heavy. Then Nixon and Pumpkin Pie had a really nice collapse on the left side, where, you know, Nixon was just shooting rockets at like 5 people and getting so much splash damage. It does look like, though, a bunch of TDM is going to get caught out aggro here, as Axion gets caught out to start that, and then more players feed after him. So Stag's running it on point right now, going to try to cap that. Looks like this will be capped as the Small Mouse marks the point. As Nixon comes in with a bomb, though, gets Stag. Small Mouse going down to spam, and Broadstar's going to get his Uber forced on not really anyone playing with him to get kills on. So despite this cap, I doubt it'll last long, as it looks like the rest of TDM should soon be approaching. At least Telly and Elk is moving in. Nixon coming in with the bomb. Here it comes. Hits the direct onto Broadstar. He goes down. Will get traded out with a mini sentry, but Pumpkin Pie lands a crit man melter to take out Smooth, that being the Soldier. And we should hopefully see TDM moving into cap this once this mini sentry goes down.
I love the man melter. I'm so happy to see somebody actually using it in a game and getting a crit kill on it. That is insane. But the player of the hour has to be Nixon. I mean, just launching in, getting these med picks so efficiently, so much pressure on the enemy team. And because of, you know, the opening of the doors there, you know, just getting that space, getting those kills, it's allowing the rest of the team to just walk forward with the heals and get so much done. As you can see here, Gibus Gang, every time they capture the point, they're struggling to hold it for any length of time, simply because they're all so weak or they don't have heals. As Broadster goes down again, this time it's going to be to the Demo. Teleports behind you as Axial gets a double kill onto the Scout, or sorry, onto the NG and the Sniper, as Blobfish switching up again, deciding to go for the Sniper this time. But he respawns on the Scout. So
Gibus Gang right now, I don't know if they realize that, but hopefully they should realize it soon. Uber will come out here, so they're gonna get forced back into spawn. Small Mouse takes out Axion, but looks like he is gonna get killed by Pumpkin Pie. Not too many frags in that, but you know, stalling for time isn't always the worst of strategies. They do force them back into spawn, so you know, just keeping them off of the point to get more time. Uberad is still only slightly in the favor of Gibus Game with only 30% right now. And Broadster will go down to Nixon, actually, on bats. He comes in with another big bomb, it looks like, or he might have been hiding, I'm not sure. Stag's on the spy now, switching off of Pyro, will kill him with that Latranger. The Letranger, as a American like me would pronounce it.
Letranger.
Yes, the Letranger.
I love that, the Letranger, that's brilliant. I don't like birds, does not like sentries either, as he takes it down from Per Machine. This could be an opportunity though, as there is no Uber on Elk. He's only at 60%, and it's up for Gibus Gang to get some damage. They do take down Pumpkin Pie. Great stickies there from Aaron. And Elk is actually hiding. I mean, I just run away. Oh no, Axiom comes in with the backstab onto Bronzer, takes down Blobfish as well. Axiom just slips in and gets these double kills, and then just slips away again. Does get finished off this time, but again, we see Gibuscam capture the point, but lose, 2-3 players for it. And because of that, it's going to be very, very easy for TDM to walk forward and recapture it, especially as Elk survived and has an Uber now. So, we're going to have to see how things go here as they have just 9 seconds left on the clock. If they win this, then they will take it 2-0 into half-time. Blobfish coming in and the Soldier trying to get something done, but so much damage comes down here from the mini sentry, from the demo, from the pyro. And that is going to be TDM taking this half 2-0. And pretty tactically aware, these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Nixon really feels like he knows how to play the map, or Soldier's really strong on this map, so you'd expect Soldiers to do well regardless. But yeah, really just having a blast on it, jumping over, being just a nuisance, sitting on bats, getting some long-range spam, and the second they leave him alone, he comes flying into your combo and just 2 shots your med. Just really frustrating to play against, regardless of whatever skill level you're playing at. It can be difficult to stop at times, but that combined with the pyro, it just feels like TDM know what they want to do, and they know how to do it. And they sink their heels into their pyro. He runs in, creates a distraction for Nixon. Axion gets a bunch of stabs, and they're up 2-0 here already at the halftime. So we're halfway through this match, and Gibus Gang is probably going to need to switch something up if they want to win this. I know you were talking about the heavy before, CJ, but he is top scoring, so do you have to think, maybe a more mobile playstyle might work, but he is their best player. And one of the interesting things about Seven or Prolander is how you kind of balance that. We need, maybe we want to switch this class, but if you main a different class, like how much is that class switch worth taking someone off a class they're good at?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
That's one of the most, kind of fascinating and vexing parts of Prolander is, well, yeah, an engineer might work, but we have a really good pyro. So, if we switch off of our pyro, then he's not going to be as good, but maybe engineer's better. So, not too many answers. Actually, it does look like Gibus Gang has left. Maybe they didn't get the memo that this was a 2BO2. So we'll have to see what's going on with that.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at the logs as they are on screen at the moment. The kind of the 2 things that strike out to me immediately is the number of deaths on a couple of players there. So Pumpkin Pie, the pyro, goes 18 for 4, over 500 DPM as a pyro, which is pretty crazy. Was getting a lot of heals, and that's just the way they were playing. 30% heals on a pyro, but if you're playing around that, the Ubers were so effective, and Pumpkin Pie was just kind of, or Pumpkin Pie was just going in and just fragging. And if your player's doing that, then that's great. Nixon actually goes 17 for 7, gets a lot of kills, but also, it wasn't so much the kill, it was who he was killing. And when you take a look further down, it's 5 med picks, which is more than anyone else on the server. I mean, 5 med picks is in fact more than any other 2 players put together. So, he was just so effective in just launching in, killing the medic, and, just opening the space for his team. But 2 players here died a combined 3 times. You've got Header Man on the engineer for TDM, went 14 kills to 1 death. And you have Elk, the medic, only died twice. So if your medic's only dying twice and you've got an engineer who's constantly alive, building up dispensers, building up mini sentries, just generally being annoying, which I think, engineers, that's your job on a King of the Hill map. You're just really effective. You're just being really effective. So kind of those players just weren't being focused, I guess. And I take your point that, you take a look at Small Mouse, went 9 for 10, was doing pretty well for his team. It just seems that you need to do something else, I guess. If you're running in a heavy and an engineer, those are 2 classes that are quite defensive. So you need somebody to initiate that aggression. It's very hard to chase an Uber with a heavy or with an engie. You need someone like a pyro, which is what TDM are doing with Pumpkin Pie. So I'm not sure what they're going to do to kind of change that. Maybe have Smooth, the scout, who was doing very well on scout, playing sort of closer to the combo. Have maybe Aaron take a lot more of the Ubers. I don't know. Have different players taking aggressive Ubers, taking that space, walking forward, and then once you've exchanged and you're falling back to consolidate the point, then you've got an engineer and a heavy, and then you're going to be very hard to break down. So yeah, it's about maybe changing the style that they're playing, but we will have a second half as Gibus Gang are returning to the server. They've obviously been told, hey, by the way, your game's not finished. You still can tie this up, because of course there's two halves. We're playing another few rounds, and we'll see if they can manage to do it.
Yeah, I'd really like to see, especially because they've had a little bit more time to maybe think about some counters during this break that they've had, as the miscommunication going on. Maybe you keep that heavy, but maybe you play more aggressively with him, or maybe you just have him and your med kind of sit together, and then get a soldier and a scout and a pyro all kind of flying around. I think my favorite weapon in the game right now is probably the thermal thruster, and you can ask anyone on HL Pugs. You can see me dropping 40 death games trying to figure out the optimal usage of how to use that weapon on pyro. But I think that on a map like Coal Plant, it can actually be really useful just for jumping straight from your ramp onto their bats and just being a nuisance. Especially if you are going to have heavy.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're gonna do the raffle like now because we don't want to extend this too long. So we're gonna do the last raffle during this downtime in between the match. So if you haven't already, type in FMPC in the chat, all caps, for a chance to win 6 months of Serve Me Premium.
Serve Me Premium is indeed very, very useful. I have it myself because every time I come to scrims, my team's like, CJ, can you get a server? I'm like, yes. Okay. So if you want a server for your games, for your teams, or just for yourself, you want to challenge someone to MGE, and you're like, hey, I think I'm better than you. It's 1v1. You can rent a server from Serve Me, set it up for some MGE, and just, frag out. But we'll see how things go. We're just waiting for Gibus Gang. Remember, FMPC in the chat in all caps, and that will log you in. That will register you in for the giveaway.
Yeah, no, and even if you're not too comp inclined, if there's some guy in a pub that talking smack, you want to show him who's boss, just say, hey, link him the connect stream, get him in there, and 1v1 the man, put him in his place. So having a TF2 server always really useful. And even then, just get some friends and mess around, maybe look at some pub maps and find some new spots. Even if you even if you don't have, even if you're not a comp player looking to scrim, having your own server is always really useful.
All right, so we're about to announce the last raffle. In 10 seconds, I'm going to start a countdown in the chat. You can go to negative numbers if you'd like.
So we're going to do a countdown here. So all eyes on Twitch chat to find out who's going to win.
Looks like Included Middle is the winner. I recognize that name from ETF2L. So Included Middle, you've got a minute to respond in chat, I believe it is, to PM the @FreshMeat Prolander Cup channel.
He's offline right now, actually.
Oh, I guess he's offline. So
yeah, we're gonna re-roll that.
We re-roll that. Good. I don't want any Euros getting more practice. Have to maintain their regional superiority in any way possible.
Molinetto. Okay, that's Puppet. I recognize the photo from Discord.
I know I've played against him a couple times. He was on Frosties, wasn't he?
No idea. He just added me for the
Included Middle.
Luger more if you want.
Yeah, Included Middle. It actually is the European Invite champion for RGL for sevens.
Is he now? Huh.
Yes. He
playing against him in, I think, like low, mid, high or so.
Yeah, he plays Prem Highlander now. He was running up a couple of seasons ago. I think he's won Platinum as well. And yeah, he was on Omni 5 when they won RGL like last month.
I know, that's really cool to hear. I didn't realize he had moved up that far. I remember we played Frosties like 3 times in a season or something, or like like a preseason cup, then in the season, and then another cup afterwards. So
he's very annoying to play against because he just bombs in all the time and always seems to land directly on my head. So He's also a very nice person. So congratulations to Include the Middle for winning that Serve Me Premium. And we'll be coming back to this. Coming back to this map soon.
Yeah, it looks like Gibus Gang only needs one more player in.
Yeah, we've got TDM versus Gibus Gang. Currently at halftime, TDM are 2-0 up. And Gibus Gang, the potential's there. The potential's there. When you're casting a game, sometimes you see a game and it's a roll, and one team's just clearly better than the other. And sometimes you see a really close game. Sometimes you see a game that, the score is quite one-sided, but you see the potential from the other team that they can get back into this. Just a little bit of tweaking, And I think there's going to be, I think Blobfish is going to be a key player as well, because it's all going to depend on what class he chooses to play. Got a nice clutch pick on the medic in that first round. Has been switching up the classes, so we'll have to see. What kind of class he decides to sort of spend most of the time on for this second half. I feel if they put a bit more kind of heals onto Aaron, use him as like the arrowhead, just walk forward, get him to do the damage, and then once you send other people over, then you have that kind of security of the heavy and the engineer behind you. We'll have to see how they adapt. I think that's basically. Competitive TF2 is adapting throughout a game, working out what the enemy team is doing, why they're beating you, and seeing, trying to find out what you can do to counter it.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the nice things about prolander, compared to other game modes, is that there's so much freedom for switching things up. Whereas, in Highlander, you're locked to, all 9 classes, which in one way is nice because you get to have a little bit of everything, but on the other way, if something's going wrong, you don't really have too much space to kind of mess with something, or maybe you're kind of getting railed by the enemy sniper. You can't switch off to a second spy or something. You already have a spy, and in sixes, if you switch off of anything other than really on blast, you are kind of handicapping your team just because that meta is so well defined. But in prolander, if the enemy sniper is doing a lot, then maybe you switch off your heavy and your pyro. Get a soldier and a spy or something in there, and try to run from there. So there's the smaller amount of classes, I guess, because it's a middle point in between HL and sixes, always leaves you a little bit of breathing room, which is nice.
Absolutely, and it does look like we've got our final player. 14th Eagle has joined for Gibus Gang. So
I believe that'll be a ringer, as it looks like Permachine has not returned.
Also, before this match starts, if you haven't won a raffle, don't feel too bad. There's going to be an unusual raffle for both donors and normal viewers tomorrow. The normal raffle for the unusual will be a Dead President's bucket cap for the soldier, and the donor raffle will be a unusual grenade launcher with cool effect.
So there's plenty for you to win. Plenty for you to win. Congratulations to those who won Serve Me Premium. But if you're more into the hats in TF2, there still is a chance for you to get your hands onto something good. Heading back to the game, 14th Eagle coming in. I mean, Permachine was playing Engineer, doing well. But do you think we're going to be seeing some class changes, perhaps?
He is on Scout in pregame right now with Smooth moving over to Medic. So Broadster actually playing Soldier and sitting on an 8 kill streak in pregame. It is pregame, so it may not mean anything. And I think one of the key components of the prolander meta that's heavily underrated is psyching people out with your classes in pregame. But we'll have to see what ends up happening once these teams ready up. It does look like Small Mouse disconnected. Not sure what's going on with him or if they're getting anyone else in for him. But hopefully we'll have our 7th and our 14th in again for sure. Otherwise, maybe waiting here a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's just to build up the hype, the anticipation. It's not the actual game that we're excited for. It's all of the build-up beforehand. We'll have to find out what's going on, whether Small Mouse is going to be coming back. But really interesting to see. I think definitely more pressure needs to be put onto Elk, only dying twice in those 2 rounds. It kind of, you need more people being put pressure on there. Perhaps a spy. We saw Axion playing Perma Spy throughout that game. Coming in with the double backstabs. It's not so much the quantity of kills, I feel, when you're a spy, but rather the quality, who you're going to be killing, rather than how many. Having a spy would probably be a good idea. If you just pick off that engineer, that's a mini sentry out of the way for the next 10 seconds. No dispenser to heal. Take down the medic. That's a huge pick. Really gives your team an advantage. I felt those two players were kind of untouched, so maybe more pressure on them there. It would be interesting to see if the classes do switch around a bit here. Like you said, Smooth on medic and Brodster's now on soldier, whether this is just pre-game warming up. We'll have to see how it goes, but again, I think Nixon on the soldier was the guy that caused the most problems for Gibus Gang. You know, if your soldier's coming in and killing your medic repeatedly, it's very difficult for you to work an advantage if you haven't got heals and the enemy team does. So really some denial needs to be there. If you're running an engineer and a heavy, that should be enough to deal with a bombing soldier. So maybe it's just about, you know, being slightly more aware or something like that. But we'll have to see how it goes in the second half. Of course, if Gibus Gang do win the next 2 rounds, that is it. It'll be 2-2. But TDM only needs to win the 1 round to secure the victory.
And yeah, I do want to follow up on that spy point you brought up, because Hedeman, the engineer on TDM, only died 1 time in both rounds, even less than his medic. And on top of that, he's using the Wrangler frequently. So, you know, when you're wrangling a mini sentry, the last thing you're doing is spy checking. So he could be a very easy frag. You know, pick him off, get the dispenser, get the tellies he had up that, you know, we saw on Upward between Bro, I Game and Source and Friends, just how important a telly can be, especially when you're defending a point, because it can help neutralize that spawn disadvantage you have if it stays up. Taking that out can be really big. And then on top of that, you know, with Nixon giving them so much trouble, another thing Spy can do that I think is a little underestimated and not really is thought of as much as the calls the Spy can give, can let you know, oh, hey, their soldiers getting buffed on the enemy bats. He's about to bomb. You know, he's jumping over. He's sitting on our bats. Be careful. Look out. He's gonna, come in on our team. And maybe that can give that heavy and pyro that used to run it a little extra second of heads up. You know, maybe let the heavy get revved a little bit for when the soldiers coming in to levitate him instead of letting his med die in 2 rockets and then killing him afterwards.
Absolutely, and it does look like we have 7 on each team now as Per Machine has come back. So the engineer from the previous game is back, and it looks like 14th Eagle may be playing the heavy class. Switch to that in the pregame. We'll see how it goes. Some name change going on. There has not been any changes. That still is Nixon. Don't get too excited. It's not Banny playing soldier. It is still Nixon. But we're just waiting for the teams to ready up now. We'll be live, which is, of course, this is the final game of this Fresh Meat Prolander Cup. This is the group stage, sponsored by STN Trading. Thanks for all of the Serve Me premiums being handed out. 6 months of premium on Serve Me. Of course, there's some raffles and giveaways available for unusual hats and the like, as well as a part of this tournament. And we've seen so far today some product, some King of the Hill product. We also saw a payload map, which was Upward. And finally, we're back onto King of the Hill, onto Coal Plant. And it's really interesting how at the start, so we were talking all about Sniper and the viability and the strength of Sniper on Coal Plant and how Asheville, you guys prefer it over in NA simply because it kind of pacifies that Sniper a little bit, restricts him. But we've not seen that much sniping going on in this game. It'll be interesting to see if it happens here, as Blobfish actually is rolling out on the Sniper to begin with.
Yeah, we do see 14th Eagle on heavy, Per Machine back in the server and engineer, as a Small Mouse was the Gibus Gang player that left towards the end there. So he'll be filling in on heavy and not too many class changes. And it does look like Broadster will be on soldier with Smooth on med, so that class change did stick. A lot of early presence coming out from Gibus Gang, although Broadster's gonna get chipped pretty low, gets an arrow back. Same thing with Aaron. Again, really heavy point presence, as it looks like most of TDM is gathering up on that mini sentry. Broadster's gonna bomb in. He'll go down. Actually, Blobfish gonna get taken out by Nixon on the back end. He's got a pretty strong flank off. Destroys all of his buildings as well. And then early aggros will be getting punished, as TDM will claim this mid fight.
I really, really liked what Broadster did there. He got so aggressive, just jumped onto that balcony there, put so much pressure on them. They were all in that choke. All they needed was for everyone else to walk across the point and throw some damage across, put some, get some pressure going on. And because no one did, Broadster basically got baited. He went in, did a ton of damage, a ton of distraction, but no one followed up on it. And it does look like Gibus Gang are struggling to get out of this lobby here. Axiom getting a backstab onto 14th Eagle, who's running the Pyro now, as opposed to the heavy. Smooth, who's on the medic, just trying to kind of stay alive here. He's getting pressured by a couple of players, but respawns for Gibus Gang are coming in, but they still have that 100% Uber on Elk to contend with. He's just chilling on point, and it's kind of two lines of defense here right now. Nixon is looking forward, and everyone else is playing around on the point. And if anyone gets close to Elk, he's just going to use that Uber and counter onto them, as Smooth's only at 50%.
Yeah, Blobfish actually on that sniper had a shot onto Elk, but ended up passing it up in favor of the mini center. So, you know, maybe just taking the guaranteed shot instead of maybe missing the medic. But I would have liked to have seen him try to get that big drop, because that's what his team really needs right now. You can even see Nixon really playing aggro, kind of not exactly hiding, but playing on the red team's bats, kind of getting into the lobby here, spamming out a bit, gonna chip Smooth down to half. Might get taken out? Yeah, he will get taken out here, but it is enough of a distraction for Axion to take out. I believe that was Aaron on the demo man there, so no demo man's gonna hurt this push. As Red Uber does actually get forced deep into lobby, the Dragon's Fury Uber gonna be coming through, but it will be getting stuffed by Pumpkin Pie. No Uber having to be used on Elk, although he uses now in the post and gets locked out of the shutter by stickies from Aaron. So unfortunately not enough, as frags are coming in TDM's favor right now. So we'll have to see if maybe Gibus can punish this overextension from TDM as Pumpkin Pie gets caught out.
Yeah, I mean, Per Machine there got a good frag onto Hedeman and just sort of open things up a little bit. So TDM 2 down for the time being. This is an opportunity for Gibus Gang to walk forward. They do actually have an Uber advantage because Elk used that Uber, you know, later on. It's about a 20% difference, and they still have this forward hold here. Teleports behind you actually gets the frag onto Stags, and Smooth goes down. The backstab from Axion. That Uber advantage means nothing now, as Gibus Gang down to 3 players. Nixon is going to try and clean up that little sentry nest, which is Dispenser and a teleporter. If that goes down, that's going to really hurt Gibus Gang's ability to try and push onto the point. Oh no, Smooth's gone through the teleporter just as it was being sticked up by teleports behind you. He's dodging, manages to pick up the health back and survives. Gets away, and the cleanup is coming in from the rest of the Gibus Gang players. They picked up a couple of frags. Stags is going to go down as he trying to go behind. But you got 5 seconds to get onto the point. Otherwise, TDM are going to win this third round and essentially win the game halfway through this second half.
Yeah, that'll be it. A perfect round coming out of TDM here. Not dropping the point a single time, but I don't believe they're med dying either. Really big plays coming out from Nixon. Teleports behind you doing a lot. Axion getting a lot of really key stabs as well. And looks like class comps will remain the same. Might like to see someone on Gibus Gang switch off to Spy here just to try it. Broadster gonna come in with an aggro jump again, but will get forced into lower. Bates, I don't like birds in though, actually. So opening frag, going over to Gibus Gang. Broadster will try a re-jump. Gonna get out thanks to that sloping advantage on the roof. Gets an arrow before going back in. So Broadster's trying to make a lot of plays, but not getting too much done. And Aaron also gets wrangled down by the mini sentry on that mid fight. And another mid coming in for TDM.
Yeah, they just wasn't that much coordination on the mid fight. Again, players had the right idea. They just needed to do things at the same time. If they did that, then it would have worked really well for them, and maybe could have, you know, won that mid fight. But in the end, actually, Elk goes down to Per Machine on the engineer of all people. So engineer getting in with the fragging onto the med. So Smooth has an Uber advantage, uses that charge. They're going to pick up, actually Pumpkin Pie picks up Stags, and Blobfish has also gone down. This Uber's not going very well. They're losing more players than they're actually fragging out. Finally, they start to pick up a couple, but it's just a slaughter on the point. And in the end, it's actually Gibus Gang who are losing more players. Their medic does go down. Per Machine again with the med pick, but it's going to be Pumpkin Pie who just deals out the damage, picking up 3 of the kills there. And they hold on to that point. 50 seconds chalked off. They are going to have an Uber disadvantage again. Smooth spawning much earlier than Elk, who's got a really, really late respawn here. So this is an opportunity for Gibus Gang to kind of re-push this and hold on to the point.
Yeah, and Pumpkin Pie just kind of getting a little caught out there. Maybe thought the rest of his team was with him. Will kind of go down here. Although Broadster and Stags both getting killed by Telly, who's doing a really good job of zoning them off this point. The cap does go through, but he kills 2 and forces Aaron out at a mere 30 HP. Doesn't end up killing him. Does get Blobfish though. He just keeps walking in. So teleports behind you. Didn't have the best half last time. I mean, didn't need to with his team being that strong, but he's really turning it on here, kind of rolling over a lot of Gibus Gang and just making that space for his team. So after only a mere 24 seconds on their first capture, TDM takes the point back in. They are sitting on a full disad though. As the Uber comes out from Gibus gang, Aaron walking in there, getting those stickies out. Broadster jumps up top, gets teleports behind you very low, but won't finalize the frag. 14th Eagle overextends, will get caught out by Axion, who has now switched to heavy at just the right time too, it seems. As that's enough to stall the point. As teleports behind you, get some absolutely crazy sticky that's off onto the point. He gets even more frags, but the cap will be going through, as it looks like Elk is caught out and lower.
I don't think they know he's there.
Yeah,
I don't know he's there.
Oh, they see him now, but looks like he's just going to try to run out. Stags is not chasing, so some interesting jukes coming out of Elk there. I think he could have just left off the bat, but ends up surviving, so all's well that ends well. As they have a 15 or so, 25% Uber ad right now. Elk about to get. TDM should be moving forward off of this, and it looks like they will. Stags gets caught out already. Pumpkin Pie, as teleports behind you, is going to try to, test things out on the point.
Yeah, that was a well-executed push by Gibus gang, actually. As Blobfish, now on the heavy, gets taken down, and Uber is going to come in. Elk popping it off. Smooth still has the charge. Pops off just in time, but doesn't have very many players to help out. 14th Eagle is going to get the majority of that Uber. Aaron is coming in for a bit of support. They still are in control of the point here, but I'm sure TDM are going to start to dry push this now. They have the man advantage, but they're just kind of playing a little bit slow, and that's going to allow the Gibus gang players to get their respawns in and get in a much better position. As there we go, Burn Machine's in, that mini sentry is up, and Broadstar is in on the flank, takes down Nixon, who was trying to get in from behind, and actually Gibus gang looking strong here, but no, Smooth goes down. The flare from Pumpkin Pie is going to take it down. Axion with the backstab back on Spy, back to the backstabs, and in the end, just kind of the DM after the fight goes the way of TDM, and they are behind in the times, but they're going to have a whole huge 100% advantage over the Smooth here, and it's going to be quite easy for them to hold on to this point unless they drop.
Yeah, with TDM actually standing for the demonstration, then you might think it stands for Team Deathmatch. That's really what they're, kind of shining at. Ripshot. But yeah, with full Uber ad sitting onto this point, a Smooth went down to a flare, which is not what you want to see, especially when they did have a heavy on the team, although Blobfish has switched to sniper here. So they are finally running no heavy in the last, what may be minute of today's games. We'll have to see if they can do anything with this newfound ability. 14th Eagle reflecting Telly's stickies right back at him and should catch him out here. But oh, Pumpkin Pie gets an Uber behind him. Will take out Smooth, Aaron, and 14th Eagle eventually going down as well. Blobfish on the SMG unable to really do too much as he gets axed down by Pumpkin Pie. Now on a 9 streak, top scoring the server. Should be pretty difficult for Gibus gang to recap here unless a miracle happens with Pumpkin Pie holding on their own brand.
Yeah, Stags is trying his best, but loses out the deathmatch 1v1 fight against I Don't Like Birds. It's going to be really difficult. Gibus gang actually have a decent amount of time on the point, so if they just strong arm it through, there's no Ubers in play, and actually pick up a couple of frags here. Aaron and 14th Eagle getting some kills, but Pumpkin Pie comes in and gets up to a 7 kill streak here. It's just going to be a lot of fire on the point. Blobfish, trying to get something done. Very hard to get that headshot from such a close range, but in the end, Pumpkin Pie just killing a ton of people. Flares, flamethrower, 14 kill streak
I think
on
it's
the
five,
pyro.
5 on the flare, 8 on the flamethrower, and I think 1 on the axe. As the respawn wave from Gibus does come back in, but Elk has built a maneuver, and we will be seeing the 2-0 for a 4-0 total of the demonstration men in this last match of Fresh Meat Prolander Cup today.
Yeah, a very strong showing from them in the second half as well. Really just looking like they knew how to play their classes, knew what they were doing, and knew how to play as a team. Pumpkin Pie, the Pyro, getting a majority of the heals, but it seems that's the way that they play with it, and it works to great effect, especially if you're allowing the team to kind of edge forward a little bit, and you pop out with a Pyro Uber, extremely, extremely effective. So great game coming there, but a 4-0 for TDM. Gibus gang just, slightly off the boil there. That last round showed that there was the potential for them to get around on the board. But in the end, it just wasn't enough, and that will be the last game of today.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's too much to talk about that last half that hasn't already been said. Pumpkin Pie going 18-4 in the first half, 21-3 in the second, for a grand total of 39-7, I believe, with about 480 DPM, I think, combined. So really want to just hats off to him. And that pretty incredible play since he always knew where to be with his med, kept his med safe, and his med rewarded him with heals and more frags than he could have imagined. So, not
I mean, that's
most,
the best reward, isn't it?
Yeah,
As a medic.
definitely.
If I'm giving you heals, I'm expecting you to get frags. If it works, then it's a match made in heaven. And it worked out very well for TDM.
Yeah, exactly. And some of those flanks they had were really nasty. With remember Telly teleports behind you, got caught out on the ramp, and then suddenly you see an Ubered Pyro running out from red team's own lobby, just getting a 5K off of that. So some good stuff. Maybe you wish that the last match would have been a little closer, but it's fun to see things like this too.
Absolutely. And that's the final game of today. Fresh Meat Prolander Cup, sponsored by STN Trading. I've been CJ with Alto and Gem on the production, and we've seen 3 fantastic games today. We saw Fair Affinity come out 4-0 winners over Ringers on Product, and we saw Bro iGame edge out a 1-0 victory against Source and Friends on Upward. And finally, you've just witnessed Grand Gibus Gaming coming short against the Demonstration Men, TDM, who won 4-0 hit on Coal Plant. I'm not sure if there's any other raffles or anything to remind people of before we disappear.
I do believe that there will be those unusual raffles going on tomorrow, and I believe there is an everyone raffle for that. I believe Soldier Bucket.
No, there's no more raffles for a night. No.
Yeah, none for today, but there are still the unusual ones tomorrow. So definitely come back and check those out. Because there's some pretty great stuff. I know an unusual soldier hat for everyone, and then I believe there's a
unusual grenade
launcher.
Yeah, donors. Unusual grenade launcher for donors. We're going to be announcing the winner of the Max Set raffle in the donors chat. This doesn't really have to be on stream, but this is just a reminder. If you're watching the stream and you've donated over a key, be sure to check the donor raffles channel in the chat to win a Max Set card.
Good stuff, indeed.
Definitely great stuff. So I believe that will do it for us today. Any shout outs you want to give, CJ, as we wrap this up?
Shout outs to you, Alto. It's been fun casting with you. First time. It's always good fun. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely. It's been an enjoyable afternoon. I guess evening for you. Little further on the clock.
10 to 10.
Definitely. Yeah, shout out to you. Shout out to Gem, silent hero on camera this entire time. Shout out to Time for making this all possible. And all the other staff as well. Can't forget them.
Yes, all the other staff. Hello, that's me.
Yes, specifically.
Yes, of course.
Specifically, everyone except this raffle coming into our cast. Nah, I'm just joking. It's been fun, but yeah, I do think that'll do it for us. So I'm Alto, joined here with CJ, Gem on camera, 3 on the raffles, and thank you for watching the Fresh Meat Prolander Cup, sponsored by STN Trading.